closed the last episode at Sarvatirth, where Jatayu died fighting Ravan and Sri Ram cremated him. Sri Ram and Lakshman then rushed towards south, coming from that way, based on only information that Ravan's chariot flew towards south, some kind of direction idea from the ornaments Sita threw from the chariot from time to time, and asking people on the way if anyone saw a flying chariot with a woman. Sri Ram and Lakshman should then have arrived here at the north bank of Krishna river and crossed the river to proceed further. River Krishna is located around the middle of India at the southern plain of Vindhya range, and Sri Ram and Lakshman entered the southern part of India for the first time in search of Sita. According to researchers, Sri Ram, when with Sita, used to travel about 30 kilometers in a single day, but after Sita was abducted, Sri Ram and Lakshman used to travel about 50 kilometers in a day while in search of Sita. This is Menawali Ghat on the bank of Krishna river, a little north of Y city, about 70 kilometers south of Pune, and about 200 kilometers from the last location, Sarvatirth. There is also an old Shiva temple near the Ghat up there. This beautiful place remained a favorite outdoor location for film shootings since 1959 release Gunj Uthi Shehnai. Also a sequence of TV serial Ramayana was shot here. The last look at river Krishna. From the south of Krishna river, Sri Ram and Lakshman were completely lost as they had no idea who was Ravan and where he lived. A local lore goes that they reached here at this location in Mahabaleshwar, and it was here, according to local belief, Goddess Parvati, wife of Lord Shiva, goddess of love and devotion, came here to test Sri Ram's determination to find Sita. There are a couple of mythological stories about Parvati's meeting Sri Ram, but eventually Parvati blessed Sri Ram for success to find and rescue Sita. Currently, here is this Sri Ram Vardayini temple to commemorate the event. This is a very old temple, and the name came from the story of Parvati blessing, which means Vardhan Sri Ram.
रोहित जी, आप इस मंदिर के बारे में कुछ बता सकते हैं?
ये मंदिर है वो पुरातन मंदिर है। ये छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज और रामदास स्वामी इसके साथ इस मंदिर को एक मूर्ति बैठे थे। और अगले शिवाजी महाराज के आगे रामदास प्रभु रामचंद्र, उसने रामचंद्र ने एक मूर्ति का बैठा है, उसको बोलते हैं रामवर्धायनी। आणि रामदास स्वामी और तुमचा विष्णु इसने मूर्ति बनाया, उसको बोलते हैं वरदायनी। वो वरदायनी और रामवर्धायनी इसका नाम है।
These are the images inside the temple. This place is located about 10 kilometers west of Mahabaleshwar in a village called Parson. Little lunch after today's shoot. This is our chariot today, and this is Binod Dubey, owner of the chariot. He is taking us to the places we have been. And this is Geeta again. She would be with us throughout this episode. To recap on the map, this is Panchavati. Sita was kidnapped here, and after kidnap of Sita, Sri Rama and Lakshman came here and found Jatayu, and that was in the last episode. From there, they came here at the bank of Krishna river down south. From here, they came to Rambardayani temple where Parvati was supposed to have blessed Sri Ram. From here, they proceeded further south this way and entered into a current Karnataka area. From the last location, Sri Ram and Lakshman traveled about 300 kilometers and reached here by asking people about the flying chariot, and as the story goes, came upon one huge monster called Kabandh. His body was as big as mountain. His arms were 8 miles long. He had one eye in the middle of his chest, and he had a massive mouth that was in the place of his stomach, and he was roaring. The story further goes that Kabandh grabbed Lakshman with one hand and Sri Ram with the other, but eventually they cut his arms off. Kabandh then told Sri Ram and Lakshman to dig a hole and burn his body. They did, and a beautiful celestial, means a Gandharva in Indian mythology, came out of the smoke. He told Sri Ram that he was a Gandharva with incredible intelligence, but once he made fun of an ugly looking sage. The sage cursed him to be a Kabandh monster. Sri Ram sought his help in finding Sita, and Kabandh advised to make alliance with Sugriv, one of the chief of the monkeys, who was going through the same as Sri Ram, because he also had been exiled from his kingdom, and his wife Rama, who had been abducted to be under captivity of his brother Bali. This is a representative image of Kabandh, and below are the footprints of Sri Ram. Kabandh suggested Sri Ram to visit an old lady, Shabari, the daughter of King Shabar, whose kingdom area we visited earlier in Aranyakand. Kabandh further said that Shabari should be waiting for Sri Ram at Sage Matanga's ashram nearby, and she should be able to give details where they might find Sugriva. Offering his respect to Sri Ram, Kabandh went back to his heavenly world, and Sri Ram started proceeding towards Matanga ashram to locate Mother Shabari. This place is located about 20 kilometers east of Ramdurg in village Karadigudda. This is today's commemorative Matanga ashram, locally called Shabari ashram or Shabari Kola, about 20 kilometers south from the last location of Kabandha Memoriam. When Sri Ram and Lakshman arrived at Sage Matanga ashram, they saw Shabari with grey hair spreading flower on the road and enchanting Sri Ram. When she saw Sri Ram and Lakshman, she immediately recognized them. She said she was waiting for Sri Ram for years since Sage Matanga left the spiritual world, advising Shabari to wait for him. A popular story goes that she welcomed them and fed them berries which she had tasted herself to make sure that they were sweet. That angered Lakshman, but Sri Ram pacified him because he could see her simplicity as well as intense love and devotion towards him. Sri Ram asked Shabari if she could tell him where to find Monkey King Sugreev, and Shabari directed Sri Ram to go to Pampa Sarovar on the bank of river Tungabhadra farther south, where at a nearby Rishimukh mountain King Sugriva would be in exile. After this, Shabari, the most devoted disciple of sage Matanga, showed Sri Ram and Lakshman around the deserted abode after the demise of sage Matanga and sat below the meditation seat of the sage. Suddenly she was consumed by the fire, and a moment later her soul came out from flames to join sage Matanga in heaven. It is important to note that in our Aranya Kand episode, we mentioned of a sage Matanga ashram in Dandak forest in the east near Shabari's ancestor home, which might mean that sage Matanga, like many other sages, also moved out of Dandak forest, and then young Shabari also moved with him. That was the image of Mother Shabari inside the ashram temple. Some rituals were going on and we could not interview the priest. This place is located near the village Gonagar in the town of Sureban. Last look at the Mother Shabari ashram. This is Satish Naik and his chariot, and he was taking us to the places at today's stretch of the shoot. After meeting Mother Shabari and as suggested by her, Sri Ram and Lakshman reached near Tungabhadra river and arrived here at Pampa Sarovar, traveling about 150 kilometers southeast from the last location where they met Mother Shabari. Pampa Sarovar is mentioned in Ramayana on Sri Ram's travel route, and this is believed to be the place. The story goes that Sri Ram was moved by surrounding hills, trees, flowers, birds, and animals, and possibly he was seeing Sita in everything. A local story also goes that at one point Sri Ram cried for Sita and Lakshman pacified. This place is located in Hanumanhalli on the north bank of Tungabhadra river near Hampi. Currently, this pond and surrounding temples make this whole place a pious destination for followers of Hindu mythology. That pond and these temples are commemorative to the event. This is Anjaniya Parvat or Anjaniya Hill area in Hanumanhalli, and here at the base of this hill was the place believed to be where Hanuman met Sri Ram and Lakshman for the first time. The story goes that at a little distance from Pampa Sarovar, somewhere here, Sri Ram and Lakshman saw a priest coming down from a hill nearby and approached them. He was speaking to Sri Ram and Lakshman in perfect Sanskrit, but something happened and his heart totally melted with respect and love for these two people. He identified himself as Hanuman, an advisor of exiled Monkey King Sugriva. Sriram also identified themselves and explained the purpose of coming here, that was to meet Sugriv and seek help to find and rescue Sita, describing the whole story starting from Ayodhya. Hanuman explained that soldiers saw them roaming around and reported to King Sugriv, and King Sugriv sent him to make sure that they were not the spies of his brother and enemy Bali, and he had to disguise himself as a priest. Hanuman was happy about the upcoming friendship and alliance between Sri Ram and Sugriv, and carried Sri Ram and Lakshman on his two shoulders up to the Rishimukh hill where Sugriv was living in exile. This hill is believed to be the birthplace of Hanuman. According to Ramayana, his mother Anjanya used to be a celestial dancer or Apsara in Lord Indra's court, and his father was Kashari. Currently, there are Hanuman temple and Anjanya temple at the top of this hill up there, where Hanuman and his mother are worshipped. These temples can be reached by climbing 575 steps. Back to the story. This is Rishimukh Parvat or Rishimukh Hill. Hanuman jumped to the top of Rishimukh Hill within seconds and put Sri Ram and Lakshman down in front of Sugriv at his court, surrounded by minister Jambuvant and army chiefs Nal and Neel. This court was believed to be somewhere here. This is Tungabhadra. What a mesmerizing beauty where King Sugriv lived in exile. The story goes that after introduction and hearing the events from Sri Ram, Sugriv remembered that some of his spies on a mountain top saw a lady was being carried in a flying chariot towards south, and the lady, after seeing them, threw towards them some of her ornaments wrapped in a cloth piece torn from her sari. The spies deposited those to Sugriv. Sugriv then brought them to Sri Ram, who immediately recognized that those were of Sita. Sugriv also explained his situation, the pain of his heart, and that his brother Bali, due to some misunderstanding, which was another story, banished him from his kingdom and abducted his wife Rama. His loyal and faithful ministers also left with him, and he had to stay hiding at this place. The place was a bit safe because of some curse by sage Matanga. Also another story, Bali could not come here, but he was always fearful of being killed by Bali. This is Sugriv Gufa in Rishimukh Hill, where Sugriv used to live during his exile. Friendship between Sri Ram and Sugriv started where Sri Ram promised to kill Bali and rescue his wife and restore his kingdom. And Sugriv also promised to help Sri Ram to locate where Sita was and bring her back. The story narrates that Hanuman here started a sacred fire in front of which they held hands. Then Sri Ram lovingly embraced Sugriv. This hill is located near the village Virupapura Gaddi on the south bank of Tungabhadra, and currently there are huge rock boulders considered commemoration of the event, and it is a holy place attracting pilgrims. And here is also this Chandramuleshwar temple in commemoration. It was very difficult to reach this location, but when there is a will, there is a way. Hard days shoot, little be a time. This is Chintamani temple in village Anegundi, whose previous or ancient or mythological name used to be Kiskindha. The temple complex houses a cave where Sri Ram and Sugriv were believed to have discussed their strategy on how Bali could be killed. The story goes that, as advised by Sri Ram, Sugriv went to the palace of Bali in Kiskindha and challenged him to a battle. As Sugriv was no equal in power, it was planned that during the battle, Sri Ram with his arrow would kill Bali hiding behind a tree nearby. This is the north bank of Tungabhadra, and the story further goes that from somewhere up there, Sri Ram took his hiding position to kill Bali. However, Sri Ram failed at the first battle, as both Bali and Sugriv being look-alike, he could not recognize Bali. Sugriv challenged Bali again and went for battle with an identification garland, and this time Sri Ram could hit Bali with his arrow from his position on the north or this side of the Tungabhadra when Bali was battling it out with Sugriv on the other side of the river up there. There is also a long story and conversations in Ramayana after Bali was hit by Sri Ram's arrow, and before his death Sri Ram and Sugriv promised to Bali that after Sugriv took over the kingdom, Tara, Bali's wife, would be queen mother, and Angad, Bali's son, would be crown prince, and both would be well protected. Local people believe that some of Sri Ram's arrow can still be found here, and even Bali's bones are also somewhere here. This place is at a little east of Sugriv's exile location. As I said, Anegundi is believed to be Sugriv's capital city, Kiskindha of Ramayana. The story goes that after the cremation of Bali, Lakshman and Hanuman coronated Sugriv at Sugriv's or formerly Bali's palace in Kiskindha. Sri Ram did not attend and remained at Sugriv's Rishimukh hill, as he should be in a forest in exile and could not attend palaces. This is an ancient fort area currently called Anegundi Fort and locally called Bali Kila or Fort of Monkey King Bali. This place is also located in Anegundi Hillock range, and the fort area herein fairly represents the palace of Sugriv in Kiskindha. This is a current Hanuman temple in the fort area, likely to be commemorative of the palace of the Monkey King clan here in Kiskindha. This Anegundi hillock is said to be one of the oldest plateaux on the planet, estimated to be 3000 million years old, and local storytellers refer to Anegundi as the maternal home of Bhudevi or Mother Earth. This is Anjanya Basuraj, and that is his chariot. He was taking us to the places in this stretch of the shoot, not only taking us to the places, also helping us in still photography and also assisting the videography. His nickname is Chotu, and thank you very much, Chotu, for your help. This is our ashram in Kiskindha. It is interesting that current royal family accepts themselves as the descendants of Crown Prince Angad. Kiskindha Heritage Resort. This was our cottage here. And living with Monkey King clan up there. This is Malyavanta Hill, believed to be Ramayana's Prasravan Parvat at the south bank of river Tungabhadra. The story goes that the first event after Sugriev's coronation was to plan for search of Sita by sending army group in all directions, but by then monsoon months started pouring. In those days, possibly monsoons were really heavy and it was not possible to travel. Sri Ram asked Sugriv to hold this search operation for 4 months of monsoon. These 4 months are called in Ramayana Chaturmasya, that is Ashar, Ravan, Bhadrava and Ashwin, and during this period Sri Ram opted to stay here on the Prasravan hill. Whereas Sri Ram and Lakshman opted to stay in the cave here, he asked Sugriv to live in his palace in Kiskindha. Sugriv gave his word to start the search operation in Kartik when the monsoon rains are gone. The Prasravan means heavy rain, and the name Prasravan Parvat was derived from heavy rain in Ramayana. The story goes that during the 4 months of living in the cave, Sri Ram was thinking of Sita at all the time. When monsoon ended, Lakshman, seeing his brother's condition during these 4 months, was very eager for search to begin. But days passed and there were no sign of Sugriv. Lakshman came to know that Sugriv forgot his promise and enjoying the luxury of a king. Lakshman got angry, and the story goes that Lakshman went to Sugriv's palace to punish him. Hanuman, seeing Lakshman coming in anger, reminded Sugriv for his promise. Sugriv realized his default and immediately sent Angad, then crown prince, to pacify Lakshman. Sugriv then met Lakshman and promised to start search operation for Sita with immediate effect. Currently, there is this old 16th century Raghunath Swami temple in commemoration of the event, where at the main shrine idols of Sri Ram, Lakshman, Sita and Hanuman are located. Here Ramayana is enchanted 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. A recognized location of Sri Ram's travel route. Inside the temple, the door was locked and we could not go further. This particular location on Malyavanta Hill near the temple is called Spatik Shila. The story goes that Sugriv then called all his army and his associates to assemble here around this rock boulder called Sphatikshila, along with Sri Ram, Lakshman, and Hanuman's father Kesri. Here it was decided to send four groups of best armies in four directions. The group of army headed by Crown Prince Angad, advisor Hanuman, Minister Jambubant, and commanders Nal and Neel being towards the most important direction, south. Each group was given 1 month to return and report to Sri Ram, and Sri Ram, believing south being the most probable direction, gave his ring to Hanuman to show to Sita if he succeeded finding her, so that Sita recognized Hanuman as his messenger. Sri Ram also sent message to Sita that no matter what, he would rescue Sita. It is believed that this place used to be called Madhuban in Ramayana. This is located a little east of Malyavanta Hill, or then Prasravan Parvat. Madhuban means a garden of honey, and Sugriev's uncle Dadhimukh used to take care of this garden. The story goes that in a month's time, three groups returned with empty hand, not finding Sita, but 1 month passed, Prince Angad's group did not return. However, Sri Ram with Lakshman and Sugriv remained hopeful, waiting for this group to return, and the time was nearing 2 months. The story further goes that one day a group of Angad's army entered this garden, jumping, shouting, and eating honey from beehive. Dadhimukh soon went to Sugriv, who was in Prasravan Parvat, complaining about it, and Sri Ram immediately understood they must have brought a good news. After the honey eating session here in Madhuban, Angad, Jambuvant, Nal, and Neel went to Sri Ram and gave the news that Hanuman found Sita. Currently, here is this Madhuban Hanuman temple commemorating the event. The images inside the temple and the image of Lord Hanuman Sankat Mochan.
यह मधुबन है। हनुमान जी लंका में सीता जी का पता लगाने के लिए गए थे और पता लगा कर आए तो यह मधुबन में बाग बगीचा था उस समय सुग्रीव का, और यहाँ फल खा करके तो भगवान राम लक्ष्मण से कहने के लिए ऋषमुख पर्वत गए।
These sequences of shots were to be taken at a place called Ram Ke Kacheri in Malyavanta Hill. But when we were shooting, a guy in a scooter came and stopped us, claiming that videography was not allowed. Strange. Ram Ke Kacheri was a terrace-like place, and we are using the location ahead as representative or in lieu. Ram Ke Kacheri means Sri Ram's court, and the story goes that here or in Ram Ke Kacheri, Hanuman informed that Ravan took Sita to his kingdom in Lanka, an island across the ocean about 100 yojon away, and narrated the whole story of his travel from here to Lanka, detailing the events of meeting Jatayu's elder brother Sampati at the ocean shore, his jumping to Lanka, meeting Bibhishan, who was Ravan's brother and an worshipper of Sri Ram. Hanuman also narrated the events of meeting Sita and giving her the ring and the message. Burning of a major part of Lanka with fire in his tail, and finally bringing back Sita's headgear, Chudamani, the only ornament she had remaining then, as well as an event description from her which only Sri Ram knew. This part of the story of Hanuman's travel is depicted in Sundar Kaand of Ramayana. After hearing the details of Sita's whereabouts, Sri Ram and Sugriv called an assembly of army and associates in that court, and it was decided to march the whole army led by Sri Ram to south following Hanuman's direction. The local belief goes that it was that terrace or the Ram ki Kacheri where the entire army assembled with arms, ammunitions and other support facilities, and from there the army marched for Lanka. By this time the total travel distance estimated to be around 3200 kilometers from Ayodhya, and time spent may be estimated as around 13 years and 8 months. Here we end our Kiskindha Kaand episode, and we will be back with the next episode of Lanka Kaand containing the most dramatic and climax events of Ramayana, ending at Lanka war, killing Ravan and rescue of Sita. Sundar Kaand is the events of Hanuman's journey to Lanka, and not Sri Ram's is not a part of this documentary. And here is the last look of the Ramayana famous Tungabhadra river. This is Binoy, and that is Geeta, who also collected holy water from Tungabhadra, signing off from Kiskindha, Karnataka. To recap the travel up to Kiskindha, this is map of Karnataka. Sri Ram and Lakshman came this way from Mahabaleshwar, where Goddess Parvati came to meet Sri Ram, and from there they came here near Ramdurg, where they met demon Kabandh and Mother Shabari. From there they came to Kiskindha here, where they met Hanuman and Sugreev, and from here, after assembling army, marched towards Ravan's Lanka, this way south. To recap on a pan-India map, the travel started from Ayodhya here, then a halt in Chitrakoot here, then 10 years in Dandak forest in this area, then to Panchavati here, where Sita was abducted, and then in search of Sita crossed river Krishna here, then reached Kiskindha here, and from here marched army towards current day Tamil Nadu this way. Although Tungabhadra river is currently considered Ramayana famous or Ramayana related in relation to Monkey Kingdom Kiskindha, the name Tungabhadra is not mentioned in any version. The ancient name of the area the river flowing here was Pampa Kshetra, and it is believed that during Ramayana story development time for this area, the name was Pampa river, Pampa Sarovar being formed from this river water.